The big Pokemon Day 2024 announcement was that the next mainline series game is going to be Legends Z to A, releasing in 2025. While most Pokemon fans are gushing about another opportunity to Mega Evolve, you can check x.com for my definitive Mega Evolution tier list. Pokemon TCG players have been grappling with something else entirely: the reveal of Pokémon TCG Pocket, co-produced by Creatures Inc. and DNA. Pokémon TCG Pocket is an app for mobile devices that lets you open packs of cards, build a collection, battle, and trade with friends. The battle system is a simplified battle system which will support its own self-contained format and not be a digital representation of standard or expanded formats. In today's video, I'm going to break down the implications of Pokemon TCG Pocket and what it means for the digital future of the Pokemon TCG. Before we dive in, let's hear a word from my sponsor, Dragon Shield. Dragon Shield just dropped two amazing new colorways for their matte dual sleeves, Power and Soul. Power is a deep metallic green, while Soul is a regal metallic purple. Dual sleeves are opaque and feature a black interior, which perfectly frames your favorite Pokemon cards. And since the sleeves aren't see-through, you don't have to worry about playing with cards that have alternative backs in casual play, like when playing Gym Leader Challenge format. Dragon Shield dual sleeves are some of my favorite sleeves for competing as well. They shuffle super smooth and are durable too. Head over to dragonshield.com today and place an order for the new Power and Soul dual sleeves. Shopping with Dragon Shield directly supports the content that I create here on Tricky Gym. Huge thank you to Dragon Shield for being a continued sponsor of the channel. A Pokemon TCG related announcement has never taken up a third of a Pokemon Presents. Clocking in at just over 4 minutes, the TCG Pocket reveal was twice as long as the Legends Z to A trailer. Part of what made this announcement so surprising is that Pokemon TCG Live, the TCG app that replaced the Pokemon trading card game online for online play, just turned 2 years old and has never been mentioned by the Pokemon Company. Let that sink in. The Pokemon TCG Live, the premier way to experience the Pokemon TCG's standard format on computers and phones, has never been mentioned by the Pokemon Company. As Pokemon TCG fans, this is pretty confusing, and really, the entire existence of the Pokemon Company is pretty confusing. So let's take a look at it for a second. The Pokemon Company is made up of 3 separate companies, which you have probably heard of: Game Freak, Creatures Inc., and Nintendo. Game Freak develops the mainline series Pokemon games like the upcoming Legends A to Z game, Creatures Inc. develops the Pokemon TCG, and Nintendo handles worldwide publication of the Pokemon video games. The Pokemon Company International is a subsidiary owned by the Pokemon Company based in Bellevue, Washington, that helps localize Pokemon products for worldwide release. The Pokemon Company International is responsible for organized play outside of Asia, including the World Championships. They also print many of the world's languages of Pokemon cards and recently purchased Millennium Print Group, a trading card production plant in North Carolina. They have also started to create their own original Pokemon-related content, like the Path to the Peak and Generations animated series, and the live-action Road to World series. And this right here is part of what makes the Pokemon TCG Pocket announcement so exciting. Up until now, the Pokemon Company International has been solely responsible for any and all representations of Pokemon cards on computers and mobile devices that you may have encountered, including the Pokemon trading card game online, which was developed by Direwolf and shut down in early 2023, and now the Pokemon trading card game Live, which has been in development at TPCI since 2018. Pokemon TCG Pocket is being developed by Creatures Inc. This means that for the first time ever, the people who are creatively responsible for making Pokemon cards are finally going to help shape the online identity of the Pokemon TCG. One of my biggest gripes with the way that the Pokemon TCG's digital assets have been handled so far is that neither the Pokemon Trading Card Game Online or the Pokemon Trading Card Game Live capture the magic of the Pokemon franchise, or accentuate the phenomenal artwork behind the Pokemon TCG. And it's not because the artists at TPCI are incapable. Just look at this amazing animation of Gimmighoul. It's so expressive and fun. Or any of the awesome work put into the Pokemon Generation series. Whether it's because of misguided leadership, lack of resources, or too much red tape, there's no denying it. The TCG clients produced by the Pokemon Company International are ugly. PTCGO, while kinda quaint and charming in its own way, was hosted by 2D characters that had nothing to do with the Pokemon franchise. They kinda looked like knockoff characters from Backyard Baseball. The Pokemon TCG Live is a visual disaster. There are the offensively bad avatars, the bland game board that for some reason feels like you're playing cards on a spaceship, or maybe the bathroom floor of a spaceship, the huge white boxes that pop up over a Pokemon when you go to attack, which really detracts from the visual appearance of the card you're attacking with. The cards are often rendered in low resolution, the animations are clunky, and the user interface for the entire thing is non-intuitive. When it comes to simulating a game of Standard on your phone or computer, mostly for free, sure, the Pokemon TCG Live can do that. But as far as captivating the interest of a Pokemon fan who isn't already heavily invested in the Pokemon TCG Live fails miserably. For the last couple years, I've maintained that the Pokemon Trading Card Game Live is a brand-damaging experience. When people familiar with the Pokemon brand go to the App Store and download the Pokemon TCG Live looking for something that reminds them of the Pokemon franchise or for a fun way to enhance their Pokemon collecting hobby, most of them will be turned away by the ugly visuals, clunky UI, and unrewarding game system. There's a massive drop-off in quality from successful mobile titles like Pokemon Unite, Pokemon Masters EX, and Pokemon Go compared to the Pokemon TCG Live. Pokemon TCG Live feels unfamiliar to Pokemon fans, like a cheap knockoff. As someone who cares a lot about the Pokemon TCG, this hurts. A lot. I want to see the Pokemon TCG succeed. It's been around for almost 30 years, but there's no guarantees that the Pokemon TCG will see another 30 years of success without good business decisions and engaging online representation. It appeared as if the Pokemon Company had completely abandoned the online representation of its card game and relegated it to the Pokemon Company International, who seemed to be in way over their heads with its development. And now we get Pokemon TCG Pocket. Creatures Inc., the creators of the Pokemon TCG, and DNA, the developers behind Pokemon Masters EX, are teaming up to create a new digital TCG-inspired game. Right away, you can tell that there's a massive focus on how these cards look in the game. The ad features a shot of Creature Studio and talks about how much effort has gone into translating the beauty of the cards to a digital space. Compare the holo patterns of a hit like this Moltres to a secret rare you might pull in Pokemon TCG Live. There is no comparison. Pokemon Pocket also teases an immersive card experience that allows players to dive into a card to more thoroughly appreciate its artwork. In the past 2 years, I have been trying to express what the Pokemon TCG Live is missing on an existential level, and Pokemon Pocket pretty much answers it. Creative ambition from the Pokemon Company. As exciting as it is to see the team behind Pokemon cards finally jump into the digital space, it does leave us in the Pokemon TCG community with one major question. Why didn't Creatures and DNA just develop the Pokemon TCG Live? The collecting, trading, and mini battles associated with Pokemon TCG Pocket seem like a really fun way to get casual Pokemon fans into the Pokemon TCG. But why isn't this part of a more ambitious app that also includes Standard and Expanded? For those of you that are frustrated that the love and care that appears to be going into Pokemon TCG Pocket is absent from the Pokemon TCG Live, hello, welcome to the club. I've been here for 2 years. With Pokemon TCG Pocket existing side by side with Pokemon TCG Live, it'll be nearly impossible for Pokemon fans to ignore the drop-off in quality from one application to another, which will further accentuate the lack of communication and collaboration between the Pokemon Company and the Pokemon Company International with these two projects. This is a head-scratcher, and admittedly, I have no idea what the master plan is behind all of this. Is there even a master plan? Did these two companies communicate about these two projects in any capacity? The fact that I'm even asking that is a little embarrassing, isn't it? Maybe if it's successful, the Pokémon TCG Pocket will expand over the next 10 years to eventually include a standard game mode. I could imagine that if Creatures and DNA decided that they wanted to get into digital card game development, it would be best to start with a mini game mode and move outward from there, right? Like a beta version. Establish the economy and core game features, and then add on additional game modes as time goes on. This would make a lot of sense, as they wouldn't be under any pressure to replicate standard format while the developers learn to make their ideal game. Or maybe that's just a whole lot of copium, and the two projects will continue to weirdly exist side by side, and the team behind the Pokémon TCG Live will just have to watch from a distance and learn from what their partners in Japan are doing. Yikes. John from PokeBeach wrote a really nice article saying that Pokémon TCG Pocket seems like the Pokémon Company's answer to Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links and Marvel Snap. Both Duel Links and Snap have been largely successful, they feature quick and exciting gameplay, and they make tons of money. I can only deduce that since the Pokémon Company felt it necessary to answer Duel Links and Marvel Snap with their own casual TCG game, but unnecessary to put as much effort or money into their competitive client to answer Magic Arena or Yu-Gi-Oh's Master Duel, that the Pokémon Company just doesn't care to make a game that caters to its most competitive players because we don't make them the most amount of money. And that's just the sad reality of being a competitive Pokémon TCG player in 2024. The Pokémon Company International does a lot of things really well. They run a great organized play system. They print high-quality cards and produce some of the most exciting tabletop tournaments streamed anywhere in the world. But they are not the company that is creatively responsible for the existence of the Pokémon TCG. That company is Creatures Inc. And when it comes to experiencing the Pokémon TCG in a digital space, I want the team behind the creation of the cards to be as close to the project as possible. Pokémon TCG Pocket isn't everything I've ever dreamed of, but for Pokémon TCG fans, it seems like the first step in the right direction. And for me, that's definitely worth celebrating. What do you think of the Pokémon TCG Pocket and the state of the Pokémon trading card game live? What are your hopes for the future of these games? Let me know in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more Pokémon TCG related content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/TrickyJim.